Hello, Trisha.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Fine. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Right.
Okay. So far, Trisha, it looks like you're the only one on here. Um, I know I've seen your name before. Have you already started your business? Do you already have your LLC formed?
So what it is, I actually just got some information on how to obtain my LLC in Iowa because I was going online and every site, like it was certain websites that I was going to, I guess that weren't official sites or something of that nature, and it was saying that it was like close to $400 and stuff like that.
No.
So yeah, so I didn't I didn't do it. So I had went to the Better Business Bureau and it's a man I ran into that gave me the information on where to get my LLC for Iowa. So,
Okay.
and then
So
he
in
also gave me the
this
information to
session,
get in contact with y'all.
I will specifically show you how to do this. Your EIN, your LLC, all
I
of that.
have I have my EIN already.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
Um, so this session is basically how to start your business.
Okay.
What is your business?
So it's for the sober living. As far as clothing, it's basically like a sober living clothing line.
Oh, Okay. Do you have a website or social media yet?
So I made a Facebook page. It's called WDR, which is those are my initials. We do recover. It is on Facebook. I kind of need to start posting more on it because I had kind of took a break from posting and stuff. But yeah, I post on there.
Okay. If you can, put your social media on in the chat. I always like to follow clients.
Okay.
Hi, Myron. Thank you for joining us today. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This session is called Getting Ready. It's basically steps on how to start your business. My name is TJ Daniels, and I am the director of the Iowa Center's Women's Business Center. Hi, Mandy. Thank you for joining us today. The overview of what we'll be going over today, basically when you're starting your business, the market research that you kind of need to think about, developing a business plan, choosing your business structure and how to register your business. I'll talk a little bit about the EIN number and the business bank account. I'll talk about registering for tax permits and additional licensing. What you should do when setting up your accounting and record keeping systems, a little bit about purchasing insurance, the location or getting your business online, finding funding opportunities, and finding and hiring managers and employees. So a lot of the times when we start a business, we need to really research the target market or our future customers. We really need to understand what those customers want and check the viability of that business idea. Here are some questions that a lot of people ask themselves when doing some of that market research. Another one of the things that I always suggest people do is maybe do a small pop-up or, do some research with your friends and family just to see if, your new business is viable. A lot of the times people have questions on whether the demand is there for that product. And I always feel it's just about doing a little research. Even if there's not a lot of demand, or even if there's already businesses out there that are similar to what you do, there's always an opportunity for your business to start. One of the questions I do get a lot is what to price your product or service. A lot of the times I will tell people to go ahead and look online at similar businesses to see what they're pricing their service as, or sometimes another way to figure out how to price your product or service is work your way backwards. How much do you need to cover for the expenses for creating that product, or how much do you want to get paid per hour for your service? And then go off of that to see how much you will price your services or your product at. The next one is develop a business plan. Sometimes, or a lot of times, people do start their business without a business plan, but the business plan basically outlines your business goals, your market, your marketing and sales strategies, and your financials. It gives a lot of detail about your business and where you want it to go. I will say a lot of the times, the business plan that you may have when you're first starting your business will change after you've actually started your business. Once you really work in your business, you'll see that there's things that need to be tweaked. So I always say that a business plan is an ever evolving document. It is not something that you'll just do and use once. It is something that will change over time, especially if you created the business plan before you even started. you'll find that maybe you need to tweak your overall business. You may need to tweak the market that you're selling to. You may find different products. So when you're in business, I do suggest that you update those business plans, because when you try to go for funding, or when you're looking for partners and you're showing that business plan, you always want to try to keep them up to date. You always want to stay ready. There are different types of business plans. There's the traditional business plan that it really is detailed and it takes more time to write. This is what a lender or an investor will want to see. So if you're trying to go get a loan, one of the number one things that they will always ask for, they'll want to see a business plan. And then there's a lean business plan or a one-page business plan. It is just a high level business plan, just hitting some of the key marks. A lot of the times I even call this a strategic plan. It is something that even if you've been in business, you may want to reevaluate what you're doing and see where you are. We have an always ready business plan class, and we do show how to get started with that lean startup plan. After this session, we will send out a recording, this actual recording, to the email addresses that you provided, and I will send out the PowerPoint presentation that you're seeing now. I will make sure to include that lean startup plan that we provide in Always Ready business plan as well. So the next thing you would need to do is choose your business structure, and of course to register your business. A lot of people, when they first start, they just start out their business as a sole proprietorship. So when I say sole proprietorship, that just means you're running your business under your name. So my name is TJ Daniels, and I may say that my business is Iowa Delights, or TJ Daniels doing business as Iowa Delights. So when you're a sole proprietor, sometimes you have to file that DBA, or doing business as document. A lot of people go ahead and file their LLC. An LLC is limited liability company. There's a lot of different advantages and disadvantages to figuring out which one of the structures you choose for your business. I am in no position to give any type of legal advice. So you would literally need to figure out which structure is best for you. So there's sole proprietorship, that is just one person, and you have ultimate personal liability. Then there's that LLC that I was just talking about. It could be one or more people, but limited liability means that if anything happens with your business, you have limited liability, or you are not personally liable. So if somebody was to sue you as as a sole proprietor, they're coming after you, or TJ Daniels. But then if they were suing my company, they would be suing Iowa Delights as an LLC. So there's the differences, brief differences between that. There's of course partnerships, corporations, there's C Corp, S Corp, and B Corp. There's different reasons for forming those different corporations. When you do that, I do suggest that you talk to an attorney or an accountant. And then of course there's nonprofits. A lot of people get into or get started and they're trying to fill out the sign up for your LLC. The LLC is done through the Secretary of State. Let me see. So here is the website that you would go to. Just like I was talking to Trisha just a little while ago, sometimes when you're trying to fill out these documents or, do these filings, you may just Google that and it takes you to an organization or a business that does these things for free. You do not have to do it that way. You are able to go and do these yourself. To sign up for your LLC, it is $50. You would go to fast track filing, create an account, and do everything that way. You will need a certificate of organization. There's a template that we use. I will include this in the email that we send out following this class. You would attach that to your online filing. You could also print this stuff out and go down to the Secretary of State and do the filing in person. When you do it online, it only costs $50. So I think, a lot of people, when they try to do this online, they see that they're being charged for $500. This is only $50 if you do it yourself. And then the EIN number, which is also a employee ID number. It's a number or a tax identifier for basically your business. Is basically like a social security number for your business. Here are some of the reasons that you may need a EIN number, but the main reason a lot of people get that EIN number is because it is necessary to open up a business bank account and to file business tax returns. So there's other reasons why you may need that EIN number, but the main reason, or the first reason that we always see that a person needs that EIN number, is to open up that business bank account. Once again, there is not a fee for filing your EIN number. Some people go online and Google that. And I'm just going to show really quick. Here is the IRS page. So I'm including this link. This is free. Some people need to help and find out if they need to even file for EIN number or figure out the online application. But once you get through that, you could just click on apply online now, and then you could literally begin your application. It's really easy. It'll ask you what type of legal structure you have. What type of legal structure you have. This probably takes 3 to 5 minutes to complete. So I'm just trying to show you this so you can understand it's not as hard as it seems. Of course, we are here at the Iowa Center and we do assist you with that. Within a week, I'll go ahead and send everybody on here a follow-up email to see if you've been able to get started or if you need additional assistance. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. So then, of course, now if anybody's tried this, when you are trying to get a business checking account, they will ask you for your LLC documentation, and then they will ask you for your EIN number. So those are 2 pieces of information that you will need to take with you when you're going to get your business checking account. Whenever I'm coaching a small business, these are the 3 things that, I typically suggest for people: the LLC, EIN number, and business checking account. I suggest people to go ahead and start out with that business checking account because your first expense, of course, was your LLC, that $50. I always suggest that people keep track of all the spending that they're doing. So keep track of everything that they're spending money on, their expenses. And then a lot of the times, when you're starting your business, you may try to do something and you're offering things at a discounted price. Well, that's still income. And when it comes down to it, that income can be included if you're trying to apply for a loan. So that's one of the reasons. Also, just for easier tax preparation at the end of the year, when you're trying to figure out what your tax liability is, or even if you have to pay sales taxes, keeping track of all this really helps you out. There's something called the commingling of funds. So when people say commingling of funds, a lot of people use their personal bank accounts to keep track of their they use their personal bank accounts to buy stuff and to put their income in, we always want that separation from your personal to your business. So, oh, we just talked about this. These are the documents that you would need to open up your business bank account. If you are a sole proprietor, or if you are a doing business as, you would use your social security number, because you're opening up that sole proprietor bank account under your personal name. If you are an LLC or anything like that, then you would use your EIN number. So different businesses actually need different licenses to open up their business. There is a website. There's a website. And what is a business license and do I need one? So you could actually go and search your business type, childcare centers, food trucks. Just even doing the research for this, I did not know you needed a license or certification for vending machines. So you could go through this and see if your particular business actually needs a license. And then you can go ahead and file for that. So here's the website that you would look for that. For your Iowa sales tax, some businesses have to pay sales taxes and some of them don't. Here is an amazing website to look into to see if you have to pay sales tax. Like I said, different businesses need to, and some of them don't. If you have any questions or need help going through this to see if your business actually has to pay sales tax, you could go ahead and contact us and we could help walk you through that. And then this is the actual website that you would file for if you had to set up a sales tax account. Oh, and these are the taxable services. So, barber and beauty services, camera repair, dry cleaning, dating services, gun repair. All these are different businesses that are taxable. And then if we go back, we can see some of the businesses that are exempt. Now, sometimes when you're buying items for your business, or if you're buying wholesale, that company will ask you for your sales tax exemption certificate. In the state of Iowa, sales tax exemption is just not an overall thing. You would actually have to complete this form for every single business or organization that you are doing the sales tax exemption with. You would also have your sales tax exempt number, but this is a form that you would send to every single organization or wholesaler that you work with, and then you keep this form on file for yourself. And then there's different types of insurance that your business may need. A lot of the times, if you are working with lenders, they're going to ask about your liability insurance. So there's different types of insurance, different types of liability insurance. And I'm just listing them out here. A lot of the times you'll need that liability insurance, even if you're trying to participate in a vendor event or something like that. So you always want to make sure you have yourself covered. And then setting up your record keeping systems. That first step to setting up your record keeping systems was opening up that business bank account. But I also spoke about keeping track of your income and expenses. A lot of the times you could just use an Excel spreadsheet, Sometimes when people are just getting started, I'm like, you could keep track of the money that you're spending in a notebook. You could keep track of it in your phone, on your calendar. No matter what you do, I always just suggest that you get started. Um, this is one of the hardest things I believe when starting your own business, but it's one of the most important things. You want to keep track of your records for a number of reasons, especially when you're trying to start and grow your business. You need to see what money you're spending, how much of it, how much do you need to continue to grow. You want to see what areas you're spending that money in. On the Iowa Center's website, we do have different financial documents. Here's the startup. So if you're just starting up your business and you need help with that, you can do that. If you're keeping track of your income and expenses, that's called a profit and loss statement. And we have one on our website as well that you could use. So that's a way. And then another way that a lot of people keep track of their expenses is through QuickBooks. And so I included the link for QuickBooks for the self-employed, and there's different plans and pricing. A lot of people start out with this first one that's $15 a month or 50% off. We do, I do see a lot of people using that. So either way you go, I always suggest that people just get started. So another thing people have to decide when they're starting a business is choosing that location. You have to figure out what budget you're working with. If you want to buy or lease the space, you know, what size of the space do you need? Do you even need a storefront? So these are questions that you might have to ask yourself when starting a business. Here's some additional questions to ask yourself when starting a business, but ultimately, these are things that you would want to consider. Here are some of the next steps. The SBDC, they can help with doing some of that research with the locations. The chamber or a realtor can help, but then to look for those locations, you could look on a lot of different property listing websites or even Craigslist. Then of course you have to consider the financials. When you're opening up, we call it a brick and mortar, but when you're opening up a brick and mortar or a physical location for your business, you have to consider how much is it going to cost you to move into this location? How much will renovations cost? The reason why you need to think about these things in advance is because especially if you're getting a loan, you need to know how much to ask for. But when you're working with the landlord or the real estate agent, these are things that could be included in the lease. And then property taxes, if you're buying, there's a lot of different incentive programs that the city and state have. So, and then of course, the legal questions, such as zoning. You know, are you in the correct area for your type of business? Now, if you decide to get online to do your business, there are different business models that you could use when you're selling online. So maybe you're just choosing to use Facebook Marketplace. Maybe you're doing Etsy. So there's different business models that you could use when you're selling online. And then a lot of people choose to build their website out. You have to make sure you have a way to direct people to your website and create your online store. If that is something, sometimes people just need a landing page to explain their services. But if you have a store, then of course you need to create that online store and purchase your domain name. When starting a business, you kind of want to keep in mind with all these steps, because sometimes your name may not be available online, or maybe somebody's already using, you know, that handle online. So these are all of the things that you want to consider. Of course, collecting sales tax and then collecting the payments. Um, these are included when starting your online business because you need to figure out exactly how you're going to collect those payments. A lot of people, when they start their website, they use Shopify, or maybe you want to collect your payments through Square. No matter what you do, those are some of the things that you need to consider. And then shipping products. When you're pricing your items, you need to make sure to take in account for shipping or take into account the sales tax that you're going to have to charge. Um, Also, if you decide that you're going to have your business online, there's something called SEO, um, search engine optimization. You kind of need to know the basics so you know the tags you use and the metadata. That's a whole nother class, but those are things to consider. And then also an email newsletter. So regardless of what way you decide to go, a physical location or an online store, um, there's a lot to keep in mind and consider. Sometimes, no matter how you start your business, you need money. A lot of the times I find that people bootstrap. And so when we say bootstrap, basically you're using your own money to start the business. That's how most people start. When you're bootstrapping to start your own business, sometimes you have to minimize the type of business that you're doing in order to upgrade. Because when you're bootstrapping, you don't have a ton of money to invest in your business. So that is something that we talk about a lot. Sometimes people use friends and family. All I could say is when you have friends and family funding your business, there needs to be conversations, very clear and defined conversations. Is this a gift? Is it expected to be paid back? What are the terms of paying it back? Are they trying to get equity in the business? Are they trying to own part of their business? And that's why they want to fund the business. So there are things to consider if you decide to have friends and family fund your business. Then there's something called venture capital and equity funding. Some people have heard about angel investors or venture capital. There's websites that you could sign up for in order to look for angel investors. And then you have to pitch or show your business plan. There's different ways to get investors that way. I have included the link if you wanted to look into that a little bit more. And then of course there's loans and financing. Here at the Iowa Center, we do have a loan fund. The loans are up to $50,000. The interest rate is 6%, and you have up to 5 years for payback. The state of Iowa has a loan fund for targeted small businesses. It's called the TSB loan program. A targeted small business is a business that is 51% or more owned by a person of color, a female, a service disabled veteran, or a veteran. So that is another way to look for funding, or of course, going to a bank and getting funding. There's SBA loans. I know a lot of people look into SBA loans when they're first getting started. And just a quick note on SBA loans, when you're trying to get an SBA loan, you are not necessarily going to the SBA to get a loan. Trisha, I saw you raised your hand.
Yeah, so I have a question. So what if your credit score is kind of a little, well, it's a little tarnished.
So,
So how does that affect you getting a business loan?
so I'm going to send you to Always Ready lending, and it really does explain the whole process about getting a loan. But your personal credit, absolutely, that does affect you trying to get a loan. When you're first starting out, lenders go by your personal credit because you don't have any business credit established. Even if you did have some business credit established, if you're a startup, they're still going to look at your personal credit. So a lot of times when we know this, I always tell people, to start working on your personal credit even before you get started. A lot of lenders will not work with you with a credit score below 620, but then there's a lot that will. You just have to make sure that your collections, you do not have any open collections. If you do, those need to be paid off. Um, and you need to make sure that um, basically that your debt to income ratio is okay. So when I say debt to income ratio, I'm saying like if you have a lot of credit cards open, you have a car loan, a house loan, all that debt, a lender will look at that because ultimately they need to make sure that you have enough money every month to pay off your loan. So the personal credit absolutely matters. I am a credit coach, so if you do need assistance, let us know, and you could get a session with me, and I will help you look at your credit and figure out a plan to get you set up and ready when you are ready to apply for a loan.
Okay.
We have another session that'll be coming up, and it's always ready credit, and I will talk about personal credit, and I will also talk about how to establish business credit. So that is something to keep an eye out for.
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, and there's also crowdfunding. There's different types of way to crowdfund, but basically that's kind of how you put online that you're starting a business and people can send a couple of dollars here and there to help start your business. So, of course, there is finding employees, hiring and managing them. A lot of the times when you're first starting a business, you are doing everything yourself. You know that's how that business is going to go. You know that's, what it needs to be. Now, there's some businesses, maybe you're opening up a restaurant, so you know that you're going to have employees. One of the things that you have to consider when hiring employees, if they're going to be an employee or an independent contractor. So there's ways to determine if they're going to be an independent employer, if they're going to be employee or independent contractor. There's different forms and different tax liabilities, if you decide to hire either or. So those are things that you need to consider if you decide that you have to hire employees. A lot of the times when you're starting the business, you know that you're going to do a majority of the work yourself, but ultimately, you may have to, hire somebody. So these are some of the things to consider. Basically, the next steps, I always tell people just to do it, get started, start working on your business, figuring out social media, figuring out your financials. I had went to the page earlier that showed that startup budget. Start doing the research on how much it may cost for certain things for your business, because action leads to results. There are a number of organizations and resources out here. Of course, here at the Iowa Center, we are a resource, but there's also a number of different resource partners. I spoke about SBDC earlier. There's SCORE. There's the Evelyn K. Davis Center. Reach out, attend those classes, and get the support that you need. It's always good to know that you are not alone in this. And we want to make sure that you know that we're here if you need it. So you could set up an appointment if you need additional assistance. You will receive an email after this session. That email will have the link to schedule an appointment. It will have a link for this recording and this PowerPoint presentations. There are other classes available Let me see, yeah. So there's always ready business plan. I spoke about this earlier. This is the class that shows you how to do the lean business plan. It's an hour, it's an amazing session. There's always ready lending. This session talks about how you would apply for a loan. What documents do you need? What do you need to look for? And then there's always ready financials. This is a session that I do to go over your personal income statement, your profit and loss statement or your income statement, and your balance sheet and cash flow statement. So, and I used the wrong one, but I also talked about always ready credit. So always ready credit, I will talk about things to look on or things to be aware of on your personal credit, because you're going to have to use your personal credit to get funding when you're starting your business. And then I will also talk about how to establish business credit. So those are a couple of things that we will talk about in Always Ready Credit. Are there any questions? I know I went over a lot of information. It is a lot of different tasks and research that you would have to do to start your own business, but I do believe it's doable. And I always just want to make sure that you all know that we are here to assist you with all of those tasks. So were there any questions about anything that I just talked about?
Not for me. I mean, I asked the questions I needed to ask so far.
Okay.
However, if I do think of any questions along the way, I do know I should be able to reach out to you, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
I think it's within the next couple of hours,
Uh,
you will have the link to schedule an appointment if you need one.
Mhm.
And then you will get the presentation and you will get a link to this recording. I am also going to go ahead and send out an email. I'm just going to set a reminder for a week just to see if you needed help filling out the information for that LLC.
Okay.
So I will reach out to everyone within a week to follow up to see if you have done it or if you still need help doing it.
Okay. That's all the questions I had.
All right. If that is it, I will end this session for today. Thank you, everybody, for coming and have a great day.
Thank you so
You too.
much.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.